Looks like we got a couple people still trickling in here. We'll give everyone another moment to get settled in before we jump in. So Philip, is it better with an extra month, or does that make it worse?
Worse in my opinion. More people think they can get everything done.
We needed that extra time, you know?
Yeah, I definitely have the very big 1040s that definitely require the summertime to get done.
So you still have to file for the extension, huh?
Yeah, but those ones that usually wait for the summer, they're like, oh, let's try and get this out now. We'll see how that works.
Fun. No such thing as a
talking about the taxes that I have not filed yet.
Ooh, it's a relief to know I'm not the only one in that boat.
No.
Give Michael a chance to log back in here. I noticed he was on a second ago and disappeared. There he is. Once he gets his audio connected, we'll jump in here. Real quick, while we wait for Michael's audio to connect, just want to make sure we know who all we've got in the call. That 4230 number, who is on that line, if y'all don't mind? And you are muted. Oh, there you go.
It's Rashid Muwakia with Transportation Department.
Hey, Rashid, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
5162.
Hey everybody, Michael's on. I'm having some significant network issues on my end, so I'll have to use the old phone.
Okay, gotcha. Which line are you on? That 42 or?
I'm on
Oh, okay, I got you over there.
440-7307. Or
Gotcha.
I use the link. For some reason I can't even use video on this thing. I don't know why.
Yep, it's got you shown as iPhone there. How about that 9100 number?
Hi, this is Lori Thomas, Assistant County Administrator.
Hey, Lori, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got names for everybody else, so I think we've got a good idea of who we've got with us. And with that, I will call this meeting to order so we can go ahead and meet as the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee for our April meeting. With that, are we aware of any public comments that have been, or a time has been requested for that? Is Michelle online available to say if we got anything, or Michael, have you got anything?
No, I didn't look at the inbox today. Miss Odom, are you on the line here by chance? Do you know if we had any public comments in the mailbox?
All right.
I will look real quick. Hold on. Nope, we have zero comments in the transportation committee mailbox.
I apologize. Can you hear me? I was muted.
Gotcha.
I did double check. I'm sorry. There were none.
All right. Very good. And I'm sure by now they'd be hollering if they had a comment to make. So with that, let's move on to the Office of Small Business Opportunities and let's provide that update.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Erica Wade. I'm the manager for the Office of Small Business Opportunity. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Doing well, thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with our OSBO report, starting with our payments to our SLBE. So as you can see, our report was completed the 20th of April. And up to that point, we had over $42 million that has been paid to our SLBEs. And just to let you guys know, when we say payment, that's actual payments to SLBEs, not necessarily contracts awarded, because a contract can be awarded, but they may not do the work for, another year or so, depending on the project. But that is the actual payment to our SLBEs. And also to kind of pay attention, I know there's been some talk around minority. So as you can see, as far as our ethnicity, with our SLBEs, you can see the majority of our SLBEs are considered minorities. You have your 68.6% that is Black, 1.4 Asian, and then we have a 1% that is Native American. And you can also see that our SLBEs is also broken into by gender. 35% of those of our SLBEs are female and 64% are male. As far as our certification is concerned, we're maintaining our SLBEs. We're still holding steady at 97. And as of today, I think we have about 3 applications that's pending. So we're really, really happy that we're still maintaining our numbers for us. And then when we talk about our SLBE participation on contracts, if you notice, our report looks a little different than the ones that we've submitted in the past. This time we actually broke it out so you can see that not only are we putting SLBE goals on just transportation projects, but now we've also been able to set goals on our county-wide projects. So as you can see, the bottom of that page talks about public works, and you can see the projects that we've been able to set goals on. We were actually able to set a sheltered market project, 100% January 21st, that went to Knollwood and Planters drainage improvement. So that means one of our SLBEs was able to self-perform that project. And just one quick update I want to make. We just set another project, another goal on Summit Ridge Road resurfacing, and that's also a public works project, and that goal was set at 20%. So as you can see, we're going steady, we're setting our goals, and we want to thank our procurement office for allowing us to get into that county-wide side and being able to set projects not just on penny tax, because a lot of folks think that we just, set goals on our penny tax projects. Also, to pay it, we want to go to our OSBO Business Academy. We have a workshop that's coming up on the 26th of May, and we called it the WWH of financial planning. What is the WWH? We want to talk about why should our small businesses should be doing some financial planning? When should they do it? And how do you go about making your financial plans in the future for your small business? And we have a financial planner from Edward Jones that's going to be doing that particular class. It's going to be virtual. We're putting the final touches on it. So we should have our flyer that's coming out pretty soon. So as soon as we get that finalized, we'll go ahead and put that on the website and shoot that out. So we're planning for a pretty good participation on those classes. And also we're putting some touches on our September event. Normally we have our signature event in September. So right now, I think we're working backward on this. We know what we want to do, but we still hadn't put the name on it yet, but it's going to be centered around finance, because it seems like this year, that's what you've been hearing. You know, we set our classes back in October, but if you notice, before we had some other classes, but not all the time the market calls for that. So we kind of made some changes, and as you can see, we've been staying steady talking about either getting your piece of the procurement, the slice of the procurement pie. We talk about financial planning. We talk about funding opportunities, because that's what you're hearing now. So like I said, September the 8th, we have that date set, and May 26th, the WWH of financial planning. So stay tuned for that. With that, I think we've completed our report. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Wade? Councilman Walker,
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Epton.
thanks
And
for joining us.
Ms. Wade, this is the first time we have met. So I promise to go easy on you, okay?
Thank you.
No, I'm teasing. I'd actually, well, first of all, thanks for the presentation, okay? Very insightful, and I've learned a lot. Just had a couple questions in mind.
Okay.
To the pie chart on page, I guess this is 413.
Yes.
SLBE firms by ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
In that pie chart, is that a breakdown of minority participation for the transportation penny, or just for transportation contracts in general? Can you tell me exactly what that shows or supposed to reflect?
The pie chart actually reflects the 97 certified SLBEs. It tells you of the 97, how many are Black, how many are white, how many are Asian. That's how that chart is broken into. And then the other pie chart shows you male to female. That's what.
Okay.
Right.
So that's the number of, or the percentage rather, of SLBE firms that we have.
Certified firms. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does your office track, or would you have the numbers for the level of minority participation when it comes to, I guess, transportation contracts or the penny contracts?
Well, first of all, Mr. Walker, let me explain something about our program. Just to let everybody know, our program is race gender neutral. So which
Sure.
means we focus more on small and local, not necessarily race and gender. However, with the B2G tracking system that we have, we can pull those numbers and broke it out by race and gender. But our focus mainly is on small and local. But yes,
Sure.
we can pull that number.
Okay, and also too, in addition to that number, I certainly want to, I would like to know the numbers for small and local as well. Vis-a-vis, far as, contractors who are not, say, local. I'm curious to just see what those numbers look like.
Okay, we'll get that to you.
Thank you, Ms. Wade.
You're welcome. That wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. Ms. Wade, I also have another question on a similar strain. Of those 97, how many have been awarded a contract or have had an opportunity to participate in the Richland Penny program?
Well, I'll have to get that number to you, because of the 97, not all of them just do construction and engineering. We also have caterers that's in there. We have consultants that's been certified. So, we certify in 7 different areas, from goods and services, construction, architecture, engineering, professional, non-professional. So I'll have to give you that breakdown. I don't have those figures right in the front of me.
Okay. Can we maybe talk about that next time?
Sure.
That'd be great. Awesome. Any other questions for Ms. Wade? Okay. Hearing none, let me page back up to the top of my agenda to see it's Mr. Niermeier's time for our transportation update. Let's dive in.
All right, good evening, everybody. Michael Niermeier, our Richland County Transportation Director. I was able to reboot the laptop and jump off the phone. So here we are live and in person. The first thing I'd like to request of this body is our typical financials missed the deadline on Friday for sending out. So if you'd allow it, I would like to redistribute the agenda to the committee. It would have those financials within it. And it was resubmitted to be posted also, which it wasn't in time. So if that's okay, Ms. Odom standing by to email it to the committee members.
Sounds great to me.
Ms. Odom, can you go ahead and do that, please? Or at least send out
Sure, I'm
that
gonna
page.
send the updated agenda and then the financial sheet separately as well, just in case that's easier for everyone.
That'd be great, thank you. If and when you receive the updated financials, I went through it before publication and just changed some of the expended to date numbers to green that showed that were changes from last week or last month. So it can help identify that a little bit easier for those that.
And Michael, while we're scrambling to all get that pulled up and everything, would you mind sharing your screen and walking us through it? Maybe that might help facilitate since we're working on different agendas and everything.
Do you just want the financial page or do you want the?
I think just the financial page would be fine.
Okay.
I can go back to the other one for everything else.
Okay, let's see. How we gotta do this here? Share screen. See that April 21?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there haven't been any updated estimates at this point. We have a couple contracts that will be hope to have awarded soon that would have changed some of the estimates for some of the projects. But if you notice under expended to date, it was just simply comparing the previous month to this month and updating the numbers. So you can see on Clemson Widening, we had a lot of updates there. There were several invoices paid. So we expended nearly I think about $1 million difference between last month and this month. Same with North Main, Atlas Road, Spears Creek Church Road, and Blythewood area improvements. Most of the Spears Creek Church Road and the Blythewood area improvements were professional services, whether it be design or some type of right-of-way. Actually, the Atlas Road widening was the same thing. We have a lot of right-of-way issues right now with the condemnations, as well as some utility work that's ongoing. So that's why you saw some differences there. Okay, moving down, they finally updated North Springs and Wisdom Way, which I think that was supposed to be North Spring and Harrington as opposed to Risden. So we'll get that squared away. Same with Bull Street. Bull Street, we had some expenditures with some professional services work for some utility and some other permit payments that we made. Neighborhood improvements increased slightly for some closeout and some final payments there. And then some professional services on Three Rivers Greenway, and same with Gills Creek A, and some sidewalk projects that have had some significant payments either on Faraway, Polo Road widening, and then some final payments on Harrison Sidewalk. So that accounts for several of the increases from the previous month. And you should all have that in your inbox right now. Any questions on that?
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay, appreciate us allowing to do that. I know we have to give a certain amount of notice, as I was made aware, and we missed the bubble. We'll make sure we corrected for the next Tpac in May. If you'll turn to page 8 on your Tpac agenda, we'll start going through the updates for transportation since the last meeting. Starting just in some general information, we finished our last interview last week for another candidate. We're checking references now and looking to make an offer very soon. Secondly, general information wise, we are completing, as Mr. Brown knows, finishing up the FY22 budget based on projected revenue, debt service payments, as well as money that I call it dead money that's been sitting in the jails for a while, and trying to ensure that gets defunded appropriately, goes back into the account, and then we can go ahead and make sure that our new money request and forward, which we have several large ones coming up, are the money is there, so we can be fiscally responsible with spending that. Recent council approvals, Clemson Road Phase 1 sidewalk was approved April 6th. City of Columbia Bikeway IGA was also approved, and then the mitigation bank credit sales was approved. However, the Bikeway IGA, we pulled back before it went to council, and this is kind of something I'll need to update here. If you go back to upcoming committee items for tomorrow, we noticed that there was some version control issues that we found with the IGA. So we asked not to go to council on the 6th. It's going back to committee tomorrow. There was some language that the notice was missing. So that corrected IGA will be going back to committee tomorrow. There's no change in the dollar amount as presented in the last IGA. It's again just some language. So that'll be going tomorrow. We have a really important transportation improvement contract, or project 2, going before committee. That is to fix once and for all, hopefully, the old Garner's Ferry Road from Garner's Ferry to Garner's Ferry. If you recall, it makes a big U that terminates at Garner's Ferry Road. It goes down to a low spot behind Pinewood Lake and then comes back up again. So they'll be doing some significant work down there with this next contract. And then the other item coming up for committee tomorrow is the city has come back and requested funding for Innovista Phase 3, sometimes known as the William Street Connector. The city has another name for it. They're initially requesting $150,000 to start the NEPA process so they can start exploring that and looking at what they can do for that connector. So that'll be coming up in committee tomorrow. And additionally, they're going to be requesting a letter of support from the county for some outside funding they'll be going to. And more information on that will be presented at committee tomorrow if you'd like to chime in. Don't want to let go of all the surprises. So
yeah, and so that's one of those projects where we're giving the city essentially a big chunk of money and saying you can build out the rest of your project by utilizing some of the county's funds here.
Potentially using any remaining Innovista projects funding that exists after finish of Innovista Phase 2 Green Street Connector would be available potentially be available if council approves to be used for matching funding for outside funding, like for a build or rise grant, for example.
Could that funding be reallocated? Would that funding be available to reallocation to other projects, or does it have to be used on Innovista projects?
I guess by the ordinance, it's supposed to be used for Innovista projects. If you look at the D-scope that was approved for by council last May, that remaining money was to be removed based on the project estimate, the cost for the city. It didn't make any sense. It was really a drop in the bucket compared to the cost estimates. So the city will actually be at the committee tomorrow to defend their position and provide the supporting information. I asked them to be there.
Okay. Very good. Thank
you. Okay, moving into pre-construction update. Last year, moving into the budget process, there was a lot of things we hoped to get to as we're coming to the end of FY21. There's still a few projects we hope to be able to advertise before the end of the fiscal year. Some of them just based on issues beyond our control are looking to slide into FY22. Not saying the next one is, but it's pretty darn close. So on the pre-construction update, Atlas Road widening Phase 1 being Garner's Ferry to Shop Road. We've had utility relocation plans approved, and the city owes the county the easements for those utilities. That's something that we're relying on them to do. And our utility coordinator, which is one of our staff augmentees, has been in discussion with the other utilities coming up with a plan. As you may realize, there's a lot of utilities along that corridor that are going to have to be relocated. And essentially, when the contract is let, about the first 12 to maybe 18 months will be utility relocation before we even start any widening of roads or building sidewalks. So there's a lot of moving parts there and a lot of good coordination that's been happening between the staff or staff aug, city, as well as utilities. Blythewood Widening, we finally got some responses out of the property owner's attorney. They've been rather slow to move on getting their updated appraisals as they had promised to us. And that is essentially slowing down our ability to advertise that contract. There's going to be a line drawn at some point, and I've been trying to discuss that with our county attorney and see what is that line. I will update everybody as soon as I have an update. Blythewood Improvements is progressing well. The construction plans have begun for the McNulty portion of it. Right away is under review by the SCDOT. As you may recall, we need approval from SCDOT to move ahead with right-of-way acquisition. And we hope to get that fairly soon. We had a meeting with the town of Blythewood, both the town administrator, the mayor, as well as one of the town councilmen, to discuss the projects. And we also included Richland 2. There's some work along Creech that this needed some clarity on. So Ms. Steele, who's on the call, organized a meeting with everybody to get us on the same page, which was very helpful. I think folks walked away feeling better about it. So we're looking to having a town meeting set up by the town councilman in May. I think was it May? We moved it to May 26th, Allison.
That's correct. It moved from the 18th to the 26th.
Yeah, that was to accommodate. We had there's a county council meeting on the 18th, so allowed Mr. Pugh to attend. The decision was made to make sure we moved it so he could attend should he would if he chose to. This will both be an information meeting on McNulty Creech, as well as a feature tentatively designed for McNulty, which was a traffic circle. I always joke Americans don't like traffic circles. It's a very European thing. There has been some, there's pros and cons with four-way stopways at traffic circles. So the intent is to really put it out there to the public, provide them information and, give them some buy-in of what they would like to see. Of course, the town and the city and the planners have a lot of say in this, which way we do go with the design. Just need something to fit their long-term plan for that particular area. So that'll be coming up on the 26th. We'll make sure that information gets out to everybody too. Moving forward, Broad River Road widening, still waiting on the finalized scope from the on-call engineering team. They're continuing to work on their feed proposal. Similar with Polo Road widening, not similar. They have their feed proposal and they've been under contract to keep working. So they're working on their design now. Spears Creek Church Road widening. They finally completed this traffic study looking at the three lanes plus intersection improvements vice the 5-lane original design, and determined it'll be sufficient to move forward with the roadway. As you may recall from the descope, the premise of moving forward and descoping some of these projects was safety. And this one, the 3 lanes plus the intersection addresses those safety issues. However, a 5-lane would look more at capacity. So we're trying to find that balance and making sure we're making decisions based on data and recommendations based on data. And at that last line say, we may come back to the committee once we get the final data and some type of design to ask for additional funding to widen 5 lanes in a certain area. That was one of the challenges, or one of the mandates that council had given us once we got the descope plan approved. Now, there's an estimated, let's call it $50 million in funding that could be saved by his descope efforts. Now, so we want to make sure that we both fairly and logically bring requests back to the council and say, we believe that doing this for this amount of money is in the best interest of Richland County and the project to achieve what we need to achieve. So that will be or could be coming up in the next several months for Spears Creek Church Road widening program or project. Good news on the Bull Elmwood intersection corner. The Church of God has come to an agreement. They're supportive of the payment. So we got the permitting from the city to widen their exit onto Wayne Street. And so we're waiting for some final negotiation between the church and their mortgagee. We can issue a right of entry. And once we have that right of entry, we'll be able to go ahead and move out with the project. Now, we still have some utility plans that are being finalized, as the document states. Bid documents are being prepared. So it'll be close whether this gets advertised this year or not. We're really hoping. We like to hit that bubble so we can get some of the work underway during the summer months. And there's a lot of folks I know that are real anxious to see that project move forward. Shop extension 2, nothing really big occurring there. Most of the scope updates and design will start next year. Crane Creek, again, working on the final design fees for the project. Gills Creek, still underway. We've evaluated the funds that we're finalizing the evaluation of the funds available to look at what can be done with what has been expended from the inception of the project till now. And at some point down the line, as I'll discuss with the committee tomorrow, what a plan would look like for the Gills, some type of community meeting on that. Smith Rocky finalized the survey work. Additional surveys may be required. They did go through, as of since this printing, they've identified trees that need to be removed or don't need to be removed, and they worked with the city's arborist on that. So right-of-way plans have begun too. Sunset Road sidewalk. There's some legacy sewer and drainage issues that are being looked at right now. SCDOT has had the plans for quite a while, so we need to ping them this week to see where they sit with those. Percival Road sidewalk, again, updating and getting the final fees for their design. When I say update the fees, what we've done is gone back and put some of the burden of the preparing bid documents on the OET. One, that it doesn't cost much money. Two, it saves my project managers that are busy managing a lot of projects a lot of time. And it just adds that extra support that we need with the size staff that we have. So that's pretty, when you say updated bid documents, it's a lot of what I'm talking about here. And then, of course, we have filing for the land disturbance permit. Next up, you may recall from the last meeting with Garner's Ferry Harmon Road intersection. This was a project where we had gone back to council and said we need to take the D scope and move it back to the original scope. The original scope was still under, it was like $1.5 million, and it was under the referendum amount. So we didn't have any heartburn doing that, and going back to the original scope made a lot of sense. So so it was approved to return the original scope. OET is working on their fee proposal for those bid phase services. And we actually have our CE and I already lined up ready to go with that once we're able to advertise. Dirt road package L. We've made a lot of really good progress on some of these legacy dirt roads that have really have caused some angst in the past. We recently received three new roads back from one of the on-call engineering teams, and those will be included in the next dirt road package L that we're putting together now. So we're real excited to get another dirt road package out, hopefully this spring, early summer, and then one more in the fall. We're looking at around no more than 15 roads right now, and that'll be split up in a logical way, and making sure those they get done correctly. That's all we have for pre-construction. As you can say, we're really pre-construction heavy. That was really anticipated after taking over the program, a bit of a lull for a few months, and then getting this design work back underway. So I'll pause there and answer any pre-construction related questions.
Anyone have any questions?
I did have one regarding the dirt road packages. I know we've had some problems in the past with a lot of these dirt roads getting paved. Not prior to you, of course, and under a different contractor working on those. I see that we have 45 million, I believe, allocated to dirt road packages, and I think we've expended over 22 million on it so far. How much more paving are we expecting, and are we going to be able to use up all this money? Is there enough, I guess, demand to have these dirt roads paved throughout the county?
Good question, Philip. Yeah, we have, let's say you said 45 million from the referendum. Depending on how you, no, I'm not going to say that. We're looking to have expended, if you go back in time before dirt roads were actually allocated and you add up the dollar amount, it comes out closer to about $31 million of the 45 has already been expended. So those are mostly sunk costs, and we have a lot of designs out of that. So, currently that are in design and or ready to go as of literally last week, we've got, 15 roads. Beyond that, we have design skip plan for the remainder of 21 into 22, which is about 30 roads. Now, we may get to a point where we have more designs and we have more money and have money to pave these roads. So, at a minimum, we're looking at these 15 coming up, as well as the 30 roads beyond that. And these were a lot of roads that were, skipped for whatever reason, put on the back burner for whatever reason, whether it be permissions or some utility or something that just got too hard and we had to keep, and the previous team had to keep moving forward. So, we own it all now. We're not making excuses. We're looking forward. So, those problems are our problems. And, I got to say, Ms. Steele and Mr. McNesby have done a really good job of really evaluating what we have and moving it forward. And like I mentioned, I was real excited. We got, 3 dirt road designs back from an OET. Moreover, there's several that we're able to review in-house and do any type of updates to them ourselves. So we don't have to send them back to the design firm, redline them, so to speak. And we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 that's what we're going to be doing. So that's a real positive. We don't have the staff to do all this design ourselves. And if you're doing a design, you're not doing anything else, and we're not built that way. We're not a pre-construction construction. We're a beginning to end type of team. So being able to do certain designs that were done previously and just update them in-house is a real plus. And that does save money. So it's essentially my staff's time, and that's about it. So. But yeah, I've been trying to keep, the folks informed, like, Councilwoman English is on the call here. Let them know how things are going with, see you, man. Sorry, you can't hide. And keeping them updated on how we're doing, like on, the roads of Robert James right now. We're doing some work down there. I sent her some pictures of the day. And like I've been, preaching, if you will, since the beginning is, we want to make sure that people aren't surprised when an excavator shows up on their street and starts tearing things up, because nobody likes that ever. So we're making sure that, the construction crews are doing their job, doing door hangers. We have our staff available to answer questions, and, the next round will definitely be getting those postcards and announcements out that, hey, we're coming to your neighborhood soon. So long answer to a short question. Sorry, but Amy, you opened the door for me there.
That's what I aim to do.
There you go.
Another question I did have was the Bull Street Elmwood intersection. I'm very pleased that we're finally hitting a consensus there and able to move forward. Refresh my memory, and how long does that anticipated to take once it does go to construction?
I don't recall. Ms. Steele, Allison, do you know what the estimate to build on the Bull Elmwood was?
Yeah, I believe our time frame is in the 6 to 8 month range for that one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman English, I see you have your hand up there.
Yeah, it's just for Mr. Nehemiah. I don't want to scare you, but I'll be reaching out to you sometime soon. I keep telling people I don't know what I don't know. But the more I learn, the more I want to just kind of get in and talk with you and just see some areas, especially in the Lower Richland area. I won't say that they were mitted, but I still have a lot of people kind of up in arms. I'm actually at a committee meeting now, trying to listen and multitask. So you have to forgive me if I seem distracted. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there and thank you all for your hard work and all that you're doing. So I do definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we've got a good teamwork at this. So anytime, ma'am, I put it out. I think at the work at the council retreat and even before. Anytime you want to sit down, I find sitting down with council members, particularly new ones, really productive. And
Yeah.
It's helpful not only to yourself as a council member, but helpful to me understanding your concerns, your hot buttons, and being able to make sure the information you get is what you need. What you want.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now that I'm 4 months in, I might know 2 things more than I did when I started.
That's
so.
progress, man. That's progress.
That's it.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Anytime. Give me a call or drop me a note. We'll put something together for you and sit down.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Philip, I didn't cut you off too early, did I?
Oh,
Do you
no,
have any
no.
other- That was everything. Okay. And I did have a question, Michael. That Garner's Ferry Harmon intersection, I just hear we descoped and we're rescoping. Do you mind kind of talking us through that loop so we understand that a little bit better?
Yeah, I'll punt that one to Allison since you wrote it up.
Yeah, so when the original traffic study was done for that and the plans put together, there really wasn't a lot to do with being anywhere close to the referendum amount to address all of the level of services at all 4 legs of the intersection. So we are really, the PDT really focused on the north side. We decided to descope to take it back to just reevaluating the intersection to see if more could be added to address the future failing level of services. It wasn't really descoped to take things out. It was just kind of descoped to take a step back and reevaluate. Once we did that, we met with the engineer and the traffic engineer and really determined the only way to address those future failing level of services would be to make the intersection north and south probably triple the size that we're doing right now. And knowing that there was no way we'd have the funding to do that, we decided to take it back to council and say, look, let's just go back to the original design and do what we can do.
I see. Okay. I'm processing. That makes sense to me, Allison. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on to construction? Hearing none. Michael, feel free.
If you like, John, we can send you the briefing document with some of the attachments to kind of look at what was and what it should be if you'd like that. The whole committee, if you desire.
I do love some pictures, Allison. If you want to forward those along, I'd be happy to take a look. Actually,
excellent.
I think what it came down to was, right now we plan on having a through and a left and a right turn lane. I think to really address all the issues, we were going to have 2 through lanes for Harmon going through Garner's Ferry. And that would involve, not only the north side, 2 lanes, but we'd have to have 2 lanes coming through the south side, also widening and removing some of the medians on Garner's Ferry. It was a lot more utility work and right-of-way work. So
I see what you mean. A lot of grading. Okay. Michael?
Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Allison. Okay, on to construction updates. We have a lot of projects that are in construction, they're stalled in construction, or finishing up construction. First, which is a really, it's amazing what the contractor can do when they really want to get something done. Was Faraway Sidewalk, which is part of the Decker-Woodfield Neighborhood Improvement Program. I think we briefed it last month that it was completed. It still is. They got it done, but now we got this punch list items that they have to come back and complete. So that was done literally in 2 months. We're pleased with that. And there's other NIP, Decker-Woodfield NIP projects coming up in the future. North Spring Harrington is closed out. Polo Road SUP substantially complete. I believe the contractor is supposed to be out today to finish a few punch list items. They're also supposed to be out last Monday to finish these punch list items. So I don't have a verification whether they were out there or not from the inspector today. Harrison Road Sidewalk is closed out. Again, another beautiful project. Innovista Phase 2, we're hanging there at 35% complete. Substantial completion is still March of 2022. I don't recall if I mentioned this last time, but we do have some railroad issues that have manifested the last month that are going to affect our cost and schedule, probably pushing the cost up a bit, as well as the schedule out to the right. Deals more with their flaggers not being able to work 10-hour days, only being able to work 8-hour days. So therefore, you're losing 10 hours a week of flagging for those particular activities, and we're waiting on our contractor to come back with a revised schedule based on the limited flagging hours that we've been directed that we will get. Everything else was done correctly. The requests, we're looking into this, and we're engaging our legal department whether they have the right to do it or not. I think I already know what the answer is. It isn't a whole lot in the contract we have with CSXT that allows us to do much of anything outside of react. But I have asked and haven't received it yet, is get something in writing from them stating that and why. But again, I'm not real confident I'm going to get it anytime soon, if at all. And it's really difficult to find the right buttons to push to get that reaction out of them. But it's on the list of things to continue to follow up with, and we'll keep moving forward and do what we can with what we're given. So anyway, that was just a bit of a disappointment. Clemson Road Widening is in closeout. We're closing out those POs now. North Main Street, nearing completion of the lighting on phases 2 and 3. Continuing the remaining asphalt and gutter work. We're sitting at 95% with a anticipated substantial completion of this summer, which is really exciting. Three Rivers Greenway, a lot of discussions about Three Rivers Greenway. We'll call it last month. It has to do with our deliverables to the city regarding our as-built surveys. Additional information has been provided to the city. They came back with some more requirements and requests. Met with them last Friday, I believe, Friday afternoon, providing some more information, and we have doing the final set of updates on these surveys to send in. There are some remaining actions, some property that's kind of well, first we have to pass an ordinance to deed the property that the county acquired over to the city. They're looking at that as whether that's a prohibitive or prohibits them from opening the Greenway anytime soon. And then there's another property matter that's I won't give you my opinion, but that needs to be resolved with the city on the Jordan properties down there. So that's another matter that their illegals looking into whether that can be resolved. That needs to be resolved before the Greenway can be open to the public legitimately, as opposed to now. I know they've been working on the parking lot down there by the ranger station and in the bathrooms, the main parking area. So that's a good positive sign. But beyond that, that's kind of where we sit. Dirt Road J is in closeout. On K, we've started work on that already with Robert James. And I believe we were down on Barclay Street today. So that's good. So there's 4 roads in package K, as you may recall. CERN, 95%, still completing it this summer. It looks really good. I forget the name of the new road. It's not Rabbit Run Connector. It's Garner's Park Road, I believe, is what I heard today. So Garner's Park Road, we'll start calling it that. I know one of the sides was open the other day. I think the one off Garner's Ferry. It still may be now that they've completed all the raised medians and the drainage efforts in that along Garner's Ferry Road. Eventually, that final the Rabbit Run portion will be opened up, and the road will be officially be used north and south coming out the Rabbit Run and then down the Garner's Ferry. So that's another really good project. The sidewalks are in, the gates are in. I think folks will be really happy with that neighborhood improvement project. Resurfacing queue closing out. I think we've got the final work done on that on the punch list. So that's a good thing. Looking at a pre-construction meeting for those dirt resurfacing package with the 52 roads at the end of May, first week in June. Contractor has to the end of December to complete. I got a feeling they'll get it done by then, pending any kind of large delays, but it's pretty straightforward. And then no change to Hardscrabble Road from the SCDOT. Any questions on the construction? Okay.
None from me.
Actually, thank you. So again, upcoming solicitations, we'll run through these. Some of these have slid. Bull Elmwood is definitely up there. We talked about that already. Alpine Sidewalk, hope to have that coming out this summer. Percival, it says summer. I think it'll probably closer to fall. Sunset's fairly close. And I know I mentioned a lot of these we're dependent on certain critical path items like getting the approval by a CDOT or getting some plans reviewed and back to us in a timely manner. 30 days is a suggestion. So we hope for the best on those. Atlas Road, we discussed already, looking at that, pushing that to the fall. Did just get a report back on that one from our new appraiser, our set appraiser for one of the properties. So that's a good sign. We're moving forward there. We talked about Garner's Ferry Harmon intersection, Bull Elmwood, Blythewood widening, again, dependent on those right-of-way pieces, and then Dirt Road Package L sometime either this early summer or into the fall. And with that, I don't have anything else. Any questions from the participants today?
What do y'all say? Questions, comments, concerns? Things to throw virtually at Michael?
Gotta have some humor.
We try. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Michael, for your transportation update. Feel very much better informed. Let's move on to the comment program. Mr. Harris, are you on the line? We checked down the numbers on the line earlier, and I'm not sure that I heard from Mr. Harris, and I know that Mr. Ando won't be on.
Yeah.
We heard anything else from our friends over at the comment this month? Michelle?
Sir, I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we received their input afternoon on Friday, included it, and they sent it out. But I know Mr. Harris was intended to participate, so I'm pretty sure he was on the invite. But if not, we'll make sure that gets corrected.
All right.
He's been in other meetings, so it's
Absolutely.
not like it's anything new here.
Yeah, he's joined us before, so he should be familiar with the meeting time and everything like that, but the report is included in our agenda packet, so please refer to that. And I do see that Mr. Harris's email is included there as well, so if you have any questions, since he's not here, I can say feel free to reach out to him, call him, write him, get in touch. So, okay, with that then, we've reach the end of our normal business. We do have our next meeting scheduled for May 31st. I assume again we'll be virtual on that. Agendas and everything will be head out as early as possible. Does that date sound wrong?
Yeah, I mean I think that's Memorial Day weekend.
That is Memorial Day.
That's Memorial Day, yeah. So
yeah.
It'll either have to be bumped up to May 24th or pushed to June. I don't want to push it to June 7th. So.
Yeah, I'd prefer to do it on the 24th if that's okay with everybody. Michelle, can you make that note and update that online for us as well?
Yes, sir. I can take care of that.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. Make sure we're staying in touch. getting these updates because it is very helpful. The next item we had there under other business is Tpac membership update. I've been checking with the City of Columbia. They are often not great to respond, and so I'm not sure how they're moving forward, but we'll continue to follow up with them because they have 3 of the appointments. Michelle, I think last time we spoke, you had mentioned that we had received applications to Richland County and that they were going to committee for approval. Is that right? Is that so where we are? Are we moving forward with anything?
And our new clerk to council is working on that right now. So I'll have her reach out to you and give you an update.
Great. And we'll continue to reach out specifically to the city, but also to the other municipalities to make sure that we have appointments from across the county to make sure we are all represented. Rich, I see you have your hand up. And you're muted if you are talking. I can mute people, but I can't unmute them, unfortunately. Rich, chime in if you were able to get unmuted and you had your hand up to add something. But
there you go. I got it.
All right, hot dog.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Steele, can you make sure, I'm not sure whether I'm on the email list for the Blythewood public hearing on the 26th. I'm getting ready after this meeting to go into a town council meeting. Do you need anything from town council for that public hearing on the 26th?
I don't believe so. Councilman already date and time. I guess as long as we have, if there are chairs and tables available to us so that we don't have to really bring anything, I think we're good to go.
Okay, I'll make sure y'all are going to come to Doco Meadows. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make sure all that's taken care of with as far as scheduling goes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, very good. So yes, we will continue to pursue some additional memberships so that we can make sure we can fill this committee out with a quorum to be able to conduct the full business of the committee. While these informational sessions are very helpful, I think that we can hold a little bit more power with a quorum to have a greater effect on the county. So we'll be looking for that membership again over the next month or two here. But with that, and pending any other business or hands up from anybody, we can adjourn this meeting. Seeing none, I appreciate everyone joining us. Members of council, thank you very much. Staff, thank you very much for your help. Fellow appointees, appreciate y'all being here. Hope y'all have a great month, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody. Good evening.
Thank you, everybody.